Loida here with Brian. If you see the background different, it's because we are currently in Brisbane, Australia. Brian has gotten the chance to speak early this morning at the $1 Million Agent Summit. So Brian, can you just kind of share with the people watching right now what that summit was about and how you got invited?
Yeah, I actually met Glenn. He was the organizer of this event, and met him in June. We did a event in Cerritos, California called the Real Estate Renegades, and it had me, Greg, it had Josh Altman, and I guess Glenn had heard about me through somebody else, or he found me through social media. He invited me to speak there. I spoke. I guess he loved it, and we ended up creating a pretty good friendship after that. And he said, you know what, dude, you got to come out to Aussie, to Brisbane, because we're gonna do an event, and it's gonna have you, the Altman brothers, Luis Ortiz from the New York $1 Million Listing Show, and a couple other guys here from Australia who are really big producers, right? $1 Million Agent is people who are doing $1 million or more, right? And this is something that I thought about way back in the day, right? I remember going to see the Altman brothers at the Radisson Hotel in Whittier. That's pretty much where I started, close to that area. Saw them, you know, I went, obviously watched them. It was a NAREP event, the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. That's the whole thing. They invited them, they went to speak. I asked questions in the audience. I remember took pictures with them, and I remember telling a few people around me, I said, you know, I'm gonna be on stage with these guys in a couple years. And that was about 4 years and change ago. That was about a month or two after I had started in the business. And I've been in the business about 4.5 years now, so you can kind of do the math. Yeah. And it really, so when these moments arise of me like speaking on stage today, yeah, it's exciting, but it's more like, okay, this is something that I already saw happening. It's not like some surprise, like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. This is incredible. Yeah. It's like I already set this as the intention, not just like a goal or a pipe dream. And I knew it was going to happen through all my efforts and everything else that I did. So it wasn't like some special luck formula. It was like, okay, I just said, okay, I want to do this. And I took the action and I got there. It's pretty simple.
Awesome. So, you know, one of the reasons that I wanted to make this video is because we get a lot of questions, especially from new agents, that ask us, you know, how can I get to your level, or what does it take to be a top level agent? And one of the things that I want you to kind of break down for anyone watching is how important goal setting is, but not just setting the goals, but reverse engineering so that you know exactly what to do.
It's really simple and very important, because a goal, if you just say, okay, I want to own a Lamborghini, and there's no actual action put behind it or no specificity to your goal, then it's just a dream, right? It's just you're daydreaming. What I mean by setting a goal is, like, for example, okay, I'm going to be on the stage with these guys. It's going to be within 4 years. You know, it's going to be at a real estate conference. I'm going to get specific about it, right? If you look at something else, like all the cars that I've gotten, same thing. Specific about when I'm going to get it. You set a date, right? You get very specific to it. So if it's a car, I'm like, I want a green one, you know, with a black interior, with all the Alcantara, with this kind of wheels. And if you've been following me on my channel, you'll see that literally every car that I've gotten, based on what I was saying, I was like, okay, it's going to be like this. It looked like it, right? Or it was very, very similar. And then everything around the events of getting the cars, for example, it just happened to line up around the date that I had set. So the more specific you are with the goal and you take action towards it, right, things begin to move that you don't understand, right? People call it the universe, whatever you want to call it. And things that seem like coincidence will not be coincidence, because that was the intention that you set. Okay. Now, what you mean by reverse engineering is, for example, let's say I want to make $1 million this year in real estate, for example. Okay. The way you reverse engineer it is you have this goal of a year. You have to now backwards track it down to the single action or actions that must be taken every single day. So if it's a year, and let's say your average commission check would be, I don't know, $10,000, right? Then we know already you have to do 100 transactions. Okay. Then you start looking deeper into it and saying, okay, well, how many conversations does it take me to get one transaction? Well, okay, let's say it's 40 conversations, okay? So that tells me right there, 40 times 100, what is that? 4,000. I have to have 4,000 conversations to get these, what's it called, these 100 deals, right? And then you start, okay, cool, so it's 4,000 conversations. How many is that a month? Well, if I work 9 months out of the year, that's, I don't know, somewhere between 400 and 500 conversations. Let's say 450. I'm not sure on the math. I might be off a little bit. Cool. So I'm working 20 days, right? So 450 divided by 20, what is that? 25 conversations a day or something like that, I think. Something like that. Maybe a little bit less. I don't know, my math might be a little bit off, but you get what I'm saying. You break it down from the year to the month to weeks.
And it's very
to
specific.
Yeah, so you know exactly, right? Now say, okay, if it's 40 conversations to get that check, then I know, hey, I need to talk to 25 people every day. And then now that goal, like $1 million to a lot of people, it's like, oh my God, I'll never do $1 million. But if I say, hey, talk to 25 people a day for the next work year, and you'll make $1 million. That seems a lot more digestible to most people than just $1 million. And since you broke it down, you have the clarity to see it, and then you know every single day what you're working for. Now you'll eliminate, oh, I don't feel motivated. Oh, I don't feel like doing it. Oh, I'm feeling off today. It doesn't matter, because if you're committed to that $1 million and you know it's only 25 contacts a day or whatever it is to get there, then you're good to go.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely something that's really important for anyone, especially a new agent, to do. Because many times, and I've heard this all the time from agents that tell me, oh, you know what, I want to make 100,000 this year. And I ask them, okay, well, how many deals is that going to take? And they have no idea how many deals or how many people they have to talk to. Right. They just say, I just want to make 100,000. And you have to be very clear as to what it's going to take, because once you know exactly what the daily activities that you have to do are supposed to be, you're more likely to do it and push forward and possibly reach your goal or pass it, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a simple formula. It's just people, for example, something I've talked about on my new product, the X Factor, was the misunderstanding of like the law of attraction, right? So there's a mental part and there's a mundane part. The mundane meaning the action you have to take every day. You can't just sit here on your couch and be like, I'm gonna be a millionaire, I'm gonna be a millionaire, and then you're gonna get a check in the mail. No, there's the thought process and the action behind it. And usually people don't take enough action or the incorrect action, and they never get there.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because something that's very similar, it's like working out and losing weight or toning up. You know, you start working out and you do it for like the first week, you're not gonna see any immediate results. You have to do it consistently over months at a time and years for you to get to the level where you want, where you're completely toned or you've lost the weight. But that's why a lot of people give up after a week, or that's why, you know, after the end of the year, a lot of people join the gym in January and they fall off after the end of that month just because they don't see the results, and then they go back to their old habits. But it's really about staying consistent and knowing that if you hit the numbers, the goals, or whatever you have set daily to do, you're gonna reach that goal that you want. And it's not just about real estate. Just like Brian said, for him it was his cars. Whatever it is that is important to you, you have to be very clear, very concise as to what you want, what color you want it, when you want it, and what you're gonna do to get there. Any last words?
No, just do it. You know, set a goal, your goal, not somebody else's, and then create a plan to get it. It's really that simple. And you have to work every day to get at it. And you know, it took me years to get a Lambo and work towards it, so don't expect it to happen overnight.
Yeah, and also don't think that it's not realistic. You can set many goals, and other people might think that they are not realistic, but it doesn't mean that you can't achieve it. Just like you getting your Lambo and a lot of things that you have achieved, for many people they probably are still shocked, like, how can you do it, or how can you even afford it?
Or he's a liar, he's fake.
Yeah. Now you mentioned the X Factor, and I want to have you talk about that before we end this video, in case anyone might actually be interested in buying that.
Well, the sale, at the time that they watch this, the sale is pretty much over, but it's a product that I made to kind of address topics like this and a lot of things that are misunderstood. You're gonna go out there and for free from my videos, Loida's videos, and other people's videos, you'll get techniques. But what the X Factor exactly is getting everything rewired here, so now when you take the action and do the techniques and you do this goal setting and everything, you're doing it the right way and you get the right result. Because once the cloudiness in your head, the indecisiveness, the fear, the lack of confidence, once that's handled, then you can go out into the world at a different level than a lot of people, right? You're gonna be a cut above the rest, and that's ultimately what's gonna fast track your way to success, right? It may not be overnight, but it'll be significantly quicker than most people.
Yeah,
that's it.
So that's it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Share it with somebody else that you think it might help, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
See ya.